Hi, it's Rob Moore here, and we've just finished day 6 of the Cayman Legacy, and I thought I'd just shoot a quick video for you here on our private beach to share with you some of the lessons that we had from the Roundtable Mastermind, and the 3 things that I'll cover that I think were some of the main topics that were hotly debated and came up a lot are the continual chase, the people you surround yourself with, and JVs for the sake of JVs. So the continual chase, I would say around the table, because this is the revisit group here, so people who come to Cayman with us every year for the Cayman Legacy, so some very successful people around the table, I'd say that people were setting their new targets and goals for making income of between $20,000 and $100,000 a month. Now, just 2 or 3 years ago, they were $3,000 or $5,000 a month, so you can see the journey that they've come on. But if we're all around the table pretty honest, whilst progress has been made and a lot more money has been made, and many of them around the table are now trainers and sort of mini celebrities in the property world, you don't necessarily become 10 times as happy when you earn 10 times the money. And this continual chase of, well, I want 10,000, and then, okay, I've got to 10,000, I need 20,000, and I've upped my lifestyle, and now I want 50,000, and I've upped my costs. That can be a bit of a chasing of something that you never actually achieve or reach. And it doesn't always leave you feeling fulfilled. Something as well, which can be a bit of a downside of masterminding, is that when you look at everyone else around the table and you're kind of getting the voyeuristic and vicarious lessons from them and their business plans, which is hugely valuable. Sometimes though, you would have set a goal of 20,000 a month and they've set a goal of 50,000 a month. You're like, oh, well, I want that and I should do that. And you start questioning what you're doing. Now, that raised to me a really important point that I think nearly everybody I've ever met in property at every level has kind of internally suffered with. It's almost like the entrepreneur's curse. That like you set a goal and once you get there, it's not enough anymore because you want the next thing, because you're goal driven. You want more. You're not fulfilled by the destination. And then you just sort of like, well, that was the dream that I wanted, but now it's there, I need more. Also, you bang your expenses up, you create this big lifestyle, you buy bigger cars, bigger houses, and then all of a sudden you need more. And that can be a bit of a curse. So some things to take home from that are, number 1, you might want to write this down. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. One of my heroes is Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's become epically successful in 3 different areas. And instead of me looking at him going, oh, I wish I was like you and I'm not good enough because I'm only me, when I met him a few weeks ago, I just thought to myself, what a great, grateful position. I'm honoured to be there with him, learning from him, getting to know him, maybe even be able to partner with him in the future. And I felt a real sense of presence and gratitude, and that's how I think you should feel around people who are maybe a bit more successful than you, or people who you're looking to be your mentor or your trainer. So don't pedestalize them and depedestalize you, or in any way feel demotivated or, oh, you're much better than me. That's pointless, isn't it? That's not the point of them. The point of a mentor, a coach, a trainer, or an idol or a hero is to motivate you, to inspire you, to say, I want to be like that in that area. But here's the thing though, a lot of people who are very successful in what you want to be successful in, they're not as successful as you in your hobby or your passion or what's most important to you in your life. So they're not better than you. They've just done well in that thing that you want to do well in, and you could probably help them too. So the way to get in with them, to get meetings, to meet them, to work with them maybe, is to find out what they really value, they really lack, the thing that you're really good at that you could help them with. And you help them with that, and they'll help you on property, business, making money. So remember, it's a journey, not a destination. By all means, keep pushing up your income targets to get more and more and more. But remember, you've got to be grateful and happy and feel a sense of achievement and fulfillment today, every day, and not just when you've got to 50 grand or 100 grand a month. Okay, so that was point 1. So that leads us nicely to point 2, which is the people you spend your time with. And while we were out doing the Cayman Legacy, there was a couple of posts on a couple of other communities which were a bit negative and scathing about what we're doing here in the Cayman Legacy. Like it's a bad thing to come out to the most beautiful location and invest your own money and time in being mentored by people who are multimillionaires who have been there, who have done it. And I thought that was a bit of a shame, but that's okay because they don't know what they don't know and they weren't here, and people are only doing the best with what they know. So do you get affected by people who maybe aren't on your journey, or they aren't in line with your vision? I mean, you may perceive them as negative, but they're probably not that way. They've probably just had some bad experiences in their life, or, you know, maybe they'd lost some money, or they'd gone on a course that didn't work for them. So it's not like you should blame them, but if you hang around with people who are anti or against what you're trying to do with your life, that's only going to hold you back. And it can take a lot of energy and a lot of kind of time and kind of space in your brain. You can be thinking about the people that are holding you back for hours a day. You know, I don't know if you've ever had an argument in your head, you know, with yourself. And I don't know if you've ever just spent days, weeks playing these videos, these movies, and these voices. You're talking to yourself in your head about what other people are saying or doing about you, critics, haters, whatever you call them. That's such a waste of time and energy. When you spend time with successful people who are going where you want to go, whether it's, you know, your martial arts coach or your music teacher, or of course maybe progressive property and making money and being an entrepreneur, it drags you forward, and it's often a very uplifting and positive experience. It's not all happy clappy. You know, we've got to look at the downside too, because we've got to protect you from making mistakes. But the more you spend your time with people who've been there and done what you want to do, what you want to achieve. I'm going to be going to Monaco. We go there every year for the Grand Prix, and I'm meeting Andreas Paniotto again, who's become a friend, and he's a billionaire and I'm not yet. And so that's a very inspiring experience for me. And just because he's got a bigger yacht, doesn't mean that he's a better person. It just means that he's been doing property longer, and maybe he's ridden a couple more recessions. He's a little bit older than me. I can learn from him. How can I help him? If I can help him more, I've just been published for Life Leverage. I'm going to help him write his next book. So there you go. He can help me maybe become a billionaire, or maybe build my commercial property investments, and I can help him with his autobiography. That's a great JV partnership. So there were some of the things that we were discussing on the table around your peer group and network and the people you hang around with. One of the quickest and easiest ways to free up a load of your time and go forward fast is to get rid of all the people in your life who are negative, who pull you down. And when I say negative, I mean they just don't understand your journey and your vision. And some of those people love you very much and they want to help you. Some of those, they just, everything you stand for, they stand against. Therefore, it's almost like they were born to bring you down. It doesn't make them wrong or bad. It just means that, you know, you need to not spend time with them. You need to cut them off for your life if you want to be held back the least and pull forward the most. And then the third real topic that was hotly debated around the table was JVs for the sake of JVs. Now, as you know, I've created an audio program called Be Your Own Bank, which is for sure, by like a factor of 10, the biggest selling audio program on joint ventures, probably in the world. And we've helped thousands of people do joint ventures. And of course, the upside is huge. You can buy property with none of your own money. You can build a bigger portfolio. You can make more income, even though you're splitting it in two, because you're doing it all with someone else's money. You're not alone in the property investing space anymore, because you get to share it with a partner, the upsides, the downsides, the celebrations, the challenges. There's huge benefits of doing joint ventures. Sometimes if you can't get mortgages, you're able to do joint ventures. You're able to borrow money from people who want a better return. Look, the upsides are huge, but there are some downsides, and it's important to talk about that. And I'm seeing a lot of people now just almost jumping into joint ventures without really thinking about the downsides or the consequences. You know, if you've got a decent amount of money to invest, or you've got a few pots, maybe you do a couple of deals yourself first. You definitely want to get to know your JV partners a bit first. Mark Homer, when he first met me, was probably a bit skeptical of me running my mouth off and, you know, whatever else, and certainly waited a few months and watched me. Did he see some consistent behavior? You know, did he see that I've been doing it for a while? He didn't just want to be sold by someone to do joint ventures. He wanted to see that they could deliver. And I wouldn't get into bed with joint ventures too early. I would say, meet as many people as you can, pick people who you think, oh, they could be a joint venture partner, and watch them. Watch how they behave over the next few months. Also, make sure they're very different to you. Normally when we meet people, we're like, oh, wow, you're just like me. We could do business together. This would be great. We're all excited about it. We're probably a bit naive and, yeah, let's go into joint ventures. Let's do this and that. And all that happens is you end up following each other around, doing the same things so that one of you isn't needed. And it becomes a bit of a clash in the end. And then it can become a great big mess if it goes wrong. So you want to make sure your joint venture partner is different from you, which means if you're strategic, they're operational. It means if they're technical, you're a visionary. It means if they're good at the numbers and the figures, you're good at maybe the goal setting, the vision, the strategy, maybe the negotiation. They're good with the legals and the finance. You're good at maybe sourcing the deals and negotiating and marketing. You've got to make sure you've got different skill sets. You're doing different things. Make sure that you get a piece of paper, draw a line down it. What are they doing? What are you doing? Make sure there's no duplication of roles. What are your key result areas? What are theirs? Are you covering all bases and not merging and duplicating tasks? In the early days of property, Mark and I would go on the viewings together, and I'd open my mouth and try and do some funky negotiation, and Mark would get me in the car afterwards. I'd say, Rob, you've got to slow down. You can't be as aggressive. And I was like, oh, I'm doing it right. You don't know what you're doing. I can get a cheaper deal. And we were doing like that with the negotiation. There was no point. And then I'm doing all the website and the branding, and Mark's going through it with a fine-tooth comb. He's like, oh, the FSA might not like that, and oh, you can't write that, and you can't do that. And in the end, we just looked at each other and went, is this going to work doing this? So after we read the E-Myth, we literally divided our roles and responsibilities in key result areas. We negotiated the ones that neither of us really wanted to do, or both of us wanted to do, so that they were separate. And we had this clear document with Mark's roles and responsibilities and daily tasks, my roles and responsibilities and daily tasks. And that was one of the best things we ever did. This was in 2006. And we stopped getting in each other's way. We learned to appreciate each other more. I actually really connected with him more. I valued him more as a business partner. I wouldn't say I fell in love with him, but I really valued him a lot more. And I really saw his strengths as strengths now, and not as things I thought he was doing wrong. And that was a very liberating experience for me. And ever since, I've really valued what Mark's brought to our joint venture. And I've left him alone, because all that stuff he loves to do, I don't like doing. He leaves me alone to crack on and do my thing, and he gets half the benefit of that, and I get half the benefit of that, and that's a great joint venture. And then when we have challenges, we can get together, and I can help Mark on some of his challenges if he's getting a bit indecisive, or Mark can help me if I'm not thinking about the details enough. We can celebrate together, and we can support each other, and that's a great thing because we're doing very different roles. But he watched me over many months, didn't just jump into the joint venture. And we've gone through a lot together, the ups and downs. We've got very different roles and responsibilities, but a very similar vision. So this joint venture partner, or these joint venture partners, because many people around the table, they've got like 4 joint venture partners on the go. Have you talked to them about the others, that you're not monogamous in your joint venture? Have you been clear up front what you're going to be doing outside the joint venture, so that you don't have any, well, I thought you were doing this, or why are you doing this? Why aren't you spending time in our business enterprise? So once you've watched them for a few months, you kind of made them go over a few hurdles. It's very important up front